Beers with Chad.
Hey everybody, what is up? Chad Wesley Smith here, Beers with Chad. Drinking today from Odd 13 Brewing out of Lafayette, Colorado, the Hop Hop Troll Troll, an ode to Mr. Frank Reynolds from one of my favorite TV shows, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and a pretty damn good beer. Obviously the good people at Odd 13 Brewing know that you gotta pay the troll toll if you wanna get into that boy's soul. You got to pay the troll toll to get in. And that they're going for gasps, not laughs. So what I wanna talk to you about today is a little bit of an update on my training and my hernia surgery, umbilical hernia surgery I just had. If you follow along with me on Instagram, you probably saw something about that. And if you listen to this, you probably follow me on Instagram. So yeah, last Friday I got my belly button cut on for a very routine procedure, umbilical hernia, which I first noticed about mid-December. So we'll kind of backtrack and talk about what I was doing leading up to that, and then sort of what I'm doing now. So you may have been following along with my AI coaching logs and like, oh, you know, Chad's lifting heavier than he has been. And as I was talking about taking a little bit of step back from jiu-jitsu for the time being, going from training 4 or 5 days a week down to just like 2 days a week, but not really committing to anything beyond that I was just lifting a bit more. And what my plan was, which I was keeping private wanted to keep private up until sort of the last moment in the event that I got injured along the way and wasn't able to complete it, but I'm still going to tell you about it anyways now after the fact, was to compete at the LA Fit Expo, which just passed last weekend. So it would have been my first powerlifting meet in just over 2 years. And you know, sometimes I miss doing powerlifting, or I miss lifting really heavy. Most of the time I don't, to be honest. I really enjoy doing jiu-jitsu. I really enjoy doing the more varied and athletic training that I'm able to do now. But I was interested to put my own AI system to work, to see how it could prepare me for a powerlifting meet. Certainly to use that as a marketing tool for people interested in the AI system. And if you are interested in it, we have a ton of info about it on the Juggernaut YouTube. You can go on the Juggernaut Instagram, my Instagram, and see in the last couple posts, people just crushing PRs, 100-pound total PRs, got a 172-pound total PR at a meet, people taking their 1 rep max, and in the course of 2, 3, 4 months, turning it into 4 rep, 5 rep, 6 rep maxes. So a lot of exciting stuff going on there. And I was using it and being pretty successful with it. Mind you, I was doing everything beltless. I planned to do the meet beltless, sleeveless, walked out, self-hand out, all that kind of good stuff, which I had done once before at Pro Raw 8 over in Australia, where I totaled 2,100 in just a singlet socks and the boat shoes. And so I wanted to see if I could surpass that, and not only surpass that 2,100 total, but also do that at a lower weight class down in the 308s, where I have not competed since 2011. So as you can see here, I have lost a lot of weight. I weighed probably 312, 313 as of this morning. And using the RP Diet app for that, you can check that out in the App Store for iPhone or Android. October 1st, I was 352. Most of 2015 to mid 2018, my average body weight was probably about 365, competing in meets at 165 to 170 kilos, 363 to 374, coming down a little bit below that in between meets. And then once I wasn't competing, not really coming down from it that much, because well, I like to eat and I like to drink. So there were several different kind of challenges that I was pursuing here for myself. Losing weight, which is something I've never really tried to do, maybe one other time in my whole life. So losing weight, doing a lot of hard beltless training, getting back into serious powerlifting training, which I hadn't done in about 2 years, all the while still training jiu-jitsu, doing some other cardio and aerobic capacity stuff to help me lose weight, to keep me in shape, getting me in better shape for jiu-jitsu, and just because I like the different challenge of things. And it was going well. I had squatted 700 for a double, 660 for 5. Again, everything here beltless. Was coming up the week that I noticed the hernia. That week I was supposed to attempt probably like a 715, 725 triple in the squat. Had benched 484 for a triple, and you know, in my mind was probably on track. At least my goals at the meet would have been to do 800 at 804 squat, 365 kilos, bench probably in that 530, 540 range, so like 240 to 245 kilos, and deadlift. Deadlift was a bit more of a mystery just because I in the time away from training for powerlifting meets, I'd still benched hard because it's bench, you're just laying there, it's not too tough. I'd still squatted fairly hard because I enjoy training the squat, but I had really done very little, if any, hard deadlift training, let alone deadlift training of any kind, because one, I don't really enjoy doing heavy deadlifts, and two, my back and hips were so challenged by a lot of the positions in jiu-jitsu that I didn't want to, you know, exacerbate any issues there with hard deadlift training. Plus that just gave me an excuse to not do it, so I had avoided that. So the deadlift was a bit more of a mystery, but yeah, I think I was probably going to be in shape for around 800 in the squat, 535 in the bench, and 750-ish in the deadlift at, you know, again, 308s. So middle of December, I'm coming up in I'm in my last week of a strength cycle on the AI program. I benched 484 for a triple on Wednesday, or rather on Monday of that week. Went in and did a lighter deadlift workout that Wednesday, like 520 for a bunch of doubles. Just kind of technique with having a big squat workout coming up later that week, and later that day, deadlifted on Wednesday morning. Later that day, I just kind of felt my stomach, you know, sort of, you know, just finger diddled my belly button as one does, and I thought, that's weird. There's something there that's not normally there, and I could, you know, I could feel something, just a protrusion in my belly button, and right away my mind went to like, man, that might be a hernia. So I had a chiropractor appointment that day. I asked my chiro, Dr. Joe Hood, what he thought. He's like, you know, it seems like there's something going on, but there was no pain with it. So we were a bit unclear. Asked Dr. Quinn Hennock the next day or 2 days later, and you know, did a bench workout a couple days later, no problem there. And as I was warming up to squat for this heavy day, I couldn't get my mind off of it. I couldn't brace the way that I needed to, just thinking, probably in the back of my head, knowing something was wrong. So I said, all right, I'll put this squat workout off from Saturday. I'm gonna go to the doctor Monday morning, first thing. If they say it's not a hernia, I'm gonna come back to my house and do the squat workout. If they say it is a hernia, then we'll go from there. Went to the doctor, they said, confirmed, yes, hernia. I asked them, well, is there any way that I can, you know, rehab this away? And they said, no, you gotta get the surgery and then rehab from there. I couldn't do any exercises to pull my intestine back into my body. So yeah, that was about December 15th at that point. I was like, well, you know, I don't wanna exacerbate this too much with heavy squatting and deadlifting, so stayed benching hard, tried going to jiu-jitsu to see how that felt, and it didn't bother it at all. So at that point, I started training jiu-jitsu like 5-6 days a week, 2 hours a day, some double days. So really stepped that up in it because it wasn't making it worse. but in the back of my mind knowing I gotta get the surgery even though it's not hurting. You know, if I want to get back to full-on training, doing what I love doing, you know, what really is my life's passion, we gotta get the surgery as quick as we can. So set that up. So just this past Friday, I got a umbilical hernia surgery at the California Hernia Specialists in Newport Beach from Dr. Andrew Harris. Pretty simple surgery. I'd never gotten real surgery like that before, besides getting my wisdom teeth taken out. So I got to put the gown on and put the little hat and you know, little booty shoes on and get put under, and woke up an hour later and had some stitches in my belly button, and here we are. So as far as a plan going forward from here, you know, I could talk about my strategy, I guess, in what I'm thinking I'm going to do with my rehab. They said it shouldn't be too long before I'm back to pretty regular training. They were as optimistic to say as at the start of the 4th week after the surgery that I could return to regular training, which sounds great to me, especially coming from doctors who I think are going to tend to be really conservative about that kind of thing. I feel great with that. So in the meantime, these next couple of weeks, just trying to keep my cardio up, because you know, I had a month of training jiu-jitsu, like I said, 5-6 times a week, 2-hour sessions, sometimes multiple sessions per day, doing other cardio work around that, and was feeling in really good shape, being able to go like all the full straight hour of live training after class, looking around being like everyone else is more tired than I am right now, which, as by far the biggest guy in class, is always a good feeling. So you know, these next couple weeks doing the cardio that I can without stressing this too much to keep that up, and then from there, you know, I'm not going to say that I'll never do a powerlifting meet again. You know, Marissa laughs at me because I probably said probably like 4 powerlifting meets in a row that I did. I said, this is it. This is my last one. And my plan was to do this LA Fit Expo one, get to do it, you know, right here, 45 minutes from my home. My friends could come watch, and like, this will be a great one to finish on. I don't know if there'll be another one. I'm definitely much more focused on training for jiu-jitsu right now. You know, continuing to lose weight, getting down to probably 300. You know, maybe having some abs, posting some shirtless selfies, living that lifestyle for a while, seeing how far I can push my aerobic capacity and my technique in jiu-jitsu to compete at Worlds, and compete several times this year, to get to train all around the country at different schools as I travel for seminars. So I definitely appreciate all the well wishes that people gave me on Instagram. Not a super serious surgery. You know, I was very mindful to like, let's get this done as soon as possible rather than wait and let it get worse and worse. And I had told my jiu-jitsu coach, Professor Philippe de la Monica, I was like, oh, you know, Professor, like I'm training really well right now. I don't want to get the surgery. And he made a very good point to say, you know, you could probably not get it, and you could train very hard, but maybe 2 weeks before Worlds, then it comes out further and it hurts, and you have to go get emergency surgery for it, and then you can't do Worlds, and you did all this hard training for nothing, kind of. So I definitely agreed with that. So even though wasn't bothering me necessarily on the day-to-day basis, it was there, it wasn't going to go away, it was potentially only going to get worse. It was either going to stay the same or get worse. So I had to get it taken care of. It not a terrible time for it, because there's not anything too big going on. It will likely keep me out from competing at Pan Ams, but such is life. So I just wanted to update you all on that, what I'm doing. I'll share as much as I can about what I do for the rehab of things. I don't want to necessarily share my plan for the rehab beforehand, but want to make sure it works according to plan before that, and then be showing you all the different kinds of training I'm doing to prepare for jiu-jitsu tournaments, and sharing about how to balance hard lifting and combat sport training together. So thanks for watching. Thanks for, you know, again, all the well wishes on Instagram and Facebook when you guys saw me in my surgery cap and gown. And go check out this great beer from Odd 13 Brewing, especially if you love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. cheers to all you fine people out there. Excited to see the Rams win the Super Bowl this weekend. I'll have another episode later in the week talking about my thoughts and predictions for the game, even though I guess I kind of just gave part of it away. So cheers, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. See you next time.